scary story. The sun was setting over the forest, casting long shadows on the ground. The birds were chirping their last songs before retreating to their nests. The air was crisp and cool, signaling the arrival of autumn. In the village, the people were busy preparing for the night. They lit their lanterns and candles and gathered around the fireplaces to share stories and laughter. They cooked their meals with the fresh produce from their gardens and the meat from their hunts. They thanked the forest for providing them with everything they needed. Among them was a modest family of 3, a father, a mother, and a son. They lived in a small wooden house at the edge of the village, close to the forest. The father was a skilled woodsman who knew every tree and animal in the woods. He was strong and brave and respected by everyone. The mother was a nurturing woman who cared for their home and their son with love and devotion. She was gentle and kind and admired by everyone. The son was a curious boy who had a thirst for adventure and a passion for learning. He was smart and lively and loved by everyone. The family was happy and content, living in harmony with nature and each other. They had a simple but fulfilling life, and they asked for nothing more. But the son had a secret. He had a dream of exploring the forest beyond the boundaries of their village. He had heard stories of the wonders and mysteries that lay hidden in the depths of the woods. He had seen glimpses of the beauty and diversity that flourished among the trees. He had felt the pull of the unknown and the thrill of the challenge. He wanted to see it for himself. He wanted to discover what secrets the forest held. He wanted to prove himself as a true woodsman, like his father. But his parents forbade him from venturing into the forest alone. They warned him of the dangers that lurked in the dark. They told him of the beasts that prowled and preyed on the unwary. They reminded him of the people who had gone missing or never returned from their expeditions. They begged him to stay within the safety of their village and to be content with what he had. The son listened to his parents, but he did not obey them. He waited for the right opportunity when they were busy or distracted, and he slipped away into the forest. He took with him a backpack, a knife, a compass, and a map. He thought he was prepared for anything. He thought he was smart enough to avoid any trouble. He thought he was brave enough to face any danger. He was wrong. He had been walking for hours, following the trails and the landmarks that he had memorized from his map. He had seen many amazing sights and heard many fascinating sounds. He had felt a surge of excitement and wonder and a sense of accomplishment and pride. He had also encountered some difficulties and made some mistakes. He had lost his way several times and had to backtrack or find a new route. He had stumbled upon some traps and snares and had to free himself or avoid them. He had met some hostile animals and had to fight or flee from them. He had felt some fear and doubt and some pain and fatigue. But he had not given up. He had pushed himself forward, determined to reach his destination. He had a goal in mind, a place that he wanted to see more than anything else. A place that he had heard about from his father and had seen in his dreams. A place called the Crystal Cave. The Crystal Cave was a legendary site, hidden deep within the forest. It was said to be a natural wonder, a marvel of nature. It was said to be a cavern filled with crystals of all shapes, sizes, and colors that sparkled and glowed in the dark. It was said to be a source of magic, a portal to another world. It was said to be a place of wonder and mystery, of beauty and danger. The son wanted to see it for himself. He wanted to witness its splendor and its secrets. He wanted to touch its crystals and feel its magic. He wanted to enter its portal and explore its world. He wanted to be the first one to do so. He had followed the clues and the signs that his father had given him and that he had deciphered from his map. He had crossed the river, climbed the hill, and entered the valley. He had found the entrance to the cave, hidden behind a waterfall. He had pushed aside the vines and the rocks and stepped into the darkness. He had reached his destination. He was about to fulfill his dream. He was about to make a terrible mistake. The son entered the cave, holding his lantern in front of him. He was greeted by a sight that took his breath away. He saw a vast chamber, filled with countless crystals that glittered and shimmered in the light. He saw crystals of all shapes, sizes, and colors that formed stalactites, stalagmites, pillars, walls, and floors. He saw crystals that reflected, refracted, and radiated light, creating a dazzling spectacle of colors and patterns. He felt a surge of awe and wonder, and a sense of achievement and pride. He had made it. He had found the crystal cave. He had fulfilled his dream. He walked deeper into the cave, admiring the beauty and diversity of the crystals. He touched some of them, feeling their smoothness and hardness and their warmth and coldness. He felt a tingling sensation in his fingers and a strange feeling in his chest. He felt a connection with the crystals and a curiosity about their nature. He wondered what secrets they held and what powers they possessed. He wondered what would happen if he took one of them or if he broke one of them. He wondered what would happen if he entered the portal, if there was one. He decided to find out. He looked around, searching for the most impressive and intriguing crystal. He saw many candidates, but one caught his eye more than the others. It was a large spherical crystal that hung from the ceiling like a chandelier. It was clear and transparent, but it had a faint glow that changed colors every few seconds. It looked like a giant, living eye that watched him with interest. He felt a pull towards the crystal and a desire to touch it. He felt a voice in his head that whispered to him to come closer. He felt a temptation that he could not resist. He approached the crystal, reaching out his hand. He felt a warmth and a vibration and a sense of anticipation. He felt a thrill and a fear and a sense of danger. He touched the crystal. He felt a shock and a pain and a sense of horror. He felt a surge of energy and a loss of control and a sense of doom. He screamed. The crystal exploded. The cave collapsed. The son was buried. The father and the mother were waiting for their son to return. They had noticed his absence and had grown worried. They had searched for him in the village and had asked the neighbors if they had seen him. They had learned that he had gone into the forest and had followed his tracks. They had reached the entrance to the cave, hidden behind the waterfall. They had seen the signs of his passage and had heard his scream. They had rushed into the cave, calling his name. They had seen the explosion and felt the tremor. They had seen the collapse and felt the despair. They had tried to dig him out using their hands and their tools. They had tried to reach him, using their voices and their hearts. They had tried to save him, using their strength and their love. They had failed. They had lost their son. They had lost their joy. They had lost their hope. They had lost their life. The forest was silent, except for the sound of the waterfall. The birds had stopped singing, and the animals had stopped moving. The air was still and cold, signaling the arrival of winter. In the cave, the crystals were dark, except for one. The large spherical crystal that had hung from the ceiling like a chandelier was now lying on the ground like a tombstone. It was clear and transparent, but it had a faint glow that changed colors every few seconds. It looked like a giant, living eye that watched the scene with satisfaction. It had a new occupant. It had a new victim. It had a new son. Thank you for joining us for this spine-tingling story. We hope you found it both thrilling and thought-provoking. If you enjoyed this video, please consider participating in our channel by subscribing, liking, and sharing it with your friends. Your support goes a long way in helping us create more engaging content for you. Goodbye, and may you always tread carefully in the world of the unknown.